heads over to the
Oh my god. Is it just me? Is it just when I watch it? Just in case. It's not me. Is it still on the countdown? Do you have a countdown? Okay. So like I was just glad that they're not watching us just like fucking
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions. We are a film podcast and YouTube channel now. This is my illustrious co-host, compadre, just dude guy,
homie. Yeah.
Andrew Davila. And on this episode of Kinetic Impressions News, we talk the casting news surrounding Spider-Man 3. Joaquin Phoenix is starring in a new Ridley Scott Napoleon film, and Aaron Sorkin confirming that he is interested in writing a sequel to Social Network, and AMC Theaters warn that they may run out of money before the end of the year. All right, so let's just roll right into the first article here. So this Spider-Man news is insane. Like, they are seriously, like, throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. So let me read a little brief here that I wrote about this. The new Spider-Man movie that is going to be released by Disney and the Sony partnership will be delayed on to December 17th, 2021, with director John Watts from the last two Tom Holland features reprising his role as director. His film is still yet untitled, but details are coming out of the project for the last month, and some of this news is super fascinating. Along with the announcement that Benedict Cumberbatch will be involved in the sequel, it is also reported through various sources, including Deadline and Hollywood Reporter, that Jamie Foxx will be reprising his role as Electro. Now, Jamie Foxx played Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that starred Andrew Garfield, which is just crazy. I've also heard the interesting fact that Andrew Garfield himself is reportedly going to be in this movie as well, as long with rumblings that Spider-Man from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, may actually also be in this movie. Now, another kind of interesting thing about this, so with Benedict Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange in this movie, it should also be noted that the next Doctor Strange movie will be directed by Sam Raimi himself, right? So it'd be interesting if, like, at the end of the next Doctor Strange movie, Tobey Maguire shows up and we go into the next Spider-Man movie. I don't know. That's freaking crazy, right?
Handing of the torch, right? Like, this is gonna be big because is this opening up the next phase? Is this phase 3 on Marvel's Cinematic Universe?
I think this is phase 4. We're in the
4.
Phase
You're right.
4?
Yeah, 4.
4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So like, and this is what we have to open with, right? Because Endgame's the last thing, and I've been like kind of hungry for a Marvel movie. I mean, it's just been a minute. Sure.
There was supposed to be a couple Marvel movies released this year. So Black Widow was supposed to have already been released. I know that. And then everything's just been pushed, right? COVID has just like decimated all of the deadlines, man.
And then Strange, we were supposed to get a Doctor Strange movie at the beginning of next year, I thought, but then it got pushed back.
Probably as well. I bet it's one of those things. I bet there's a bunch of movies that got pushed back. A bunch of Marvel movies got pushed back. It's interesting. Like, we're gonna talk later about the AMC thing and what the pandemic is doing to the industry, which is nuts, right? This news is like fact. Like, where do you think this might go, man? Because like, we've got Doctor Strange, which he's gonna be probably where the multiverse kind of like turns itself, right? Where that's gonna come from, right? But then you've got all these other I wonder what kind of story this is gonna be, because there's just so many ways it could go, right?
Well, Spider-Man's lost his mentor. Like, he no longer has Tony Stark to rely on and to like help him. So I think they maybe him and Doctor Strange kind of had like a little bit of a bond while they were on that planet, waiting to come back in. Like, so I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting. I love the Doctor Strange movies. I think it was one of the best way to kind of go away from the Avengers universe and like slowly trickle in Doctor Strange. I love the way they did that. I thought it was a great break off whenever they did the original Doctor Strange movie. And it was kind of like the first one that was like a tone setter. You know what I mean? It had to be a little different. It couldn't be just like Thor or Iron Man. It had to feel like a different movie. I thought Doctor Strange did a great job of that. Credit to the director, whoever directed that. I don't know.
It was
the first one.
He was a horror director. It was something Dickinson, like Roger Dickinson or Steve Dickinson or something. He had done horror movies before. That was a fantastic movie with the visuals. The visuals alone were great. The story was good. I really liked the first Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a good backstory. It was a lot of story, and it didn't feel that it didn't feel that terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
Usually you get too much story in the beginning, and then you're just like, you're sick of it. And I thought they had some great characters. They had some great characters in that. I mean, Rachel McAdams was in that thing.
Yeah.
And then like I've been waiting for Mordo to become the villain. I thought at the end of that movie, it, or maybe it was the second one where
I
it
believe
just
I believe
obviously
Chiwetel or Ejiofor is in Doctor Strange 2 in some capacity.
man, how do you say that name?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Mordu.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just don't know how to say his real name, man.
Yeah.
Like,
no, for sure.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm hoping he's in it. I love Tilda Swinton. Like Tilda Swinton was great.
Yeah, she
I
was
thought
really good.
Tilda Swinton like built that character perfectly to show the importance of Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like her character in Endgame is good just because she built that character up so well in the first couple movies.
For sure. She definitely was the kind of the linchpin of that movie where like Banner came in and that scene alone, it was a good bit of exposition, but you know, that entire scene was very wonderfully crafted and edited. When like, I love the moment when Hulk walks up and she just immediately pushes his spiritness away, and then you see like the regular Bruce Banner, and it's like the only time in the whole movie you see regular Bruce Banner, right? Just to kind of emphasize this moment in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Doctor Strange was a fantastic film. I like the characters and the stories. I think it was a really visually stunning film as well. It was the first time like someone had really copied that Inception style, like cinematography style, and like really kind of turned it on its head and made it really kind of like crazy and cool, and like the visuals were really kind of
I think it was a big learning curve. I think it was something that they were going to have to get good at very quickly, and which was like, we have to make a separate story that's going to draw a different audience but still tie into our Marvel universe. I think one of the best things that have done that recently, not pertaining to this series, is like Wonder Woman. The original Wonder Woman was great standalone film, but it was just it was almost, it felt like it was done just to be in this cinematic universe that DC was creating. But like I'm thinking of like Wonder Woman was such a great standalone film. I like it. You know, it's not like amazing, but I'm saying
That's
I like
actually
it.
a good point.
And then they created like Doctor Strange, and I really feel like it took I can't think of the guy's name, but like the you know, the Jojo Rabbit guy, when he did Ragnarok, it also became it's like a great. I didn't like the first two Thors. Yes, I didn't like the first two Thors, and when he did Ragnarok, I thought like finally like Thor can be its own thing, which I know like later on they're creating that Love and
Thunder.
Love and Thunder movie.
Thor, Love and Thunder. Yes.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out. I know that's gotten pushed, delayed, and stuff like that. But you know, it's about creating those movies that can survive on their own. Black Panther obviously was like the finishing move for Marvel to do that, because they needed something to bring the country to they kind of needed something to bring the country together. And I feel at that time like they did that with fucking Black Panther. I thought they did an amazing job with that.
They did create a rallying cry with that movie. And I do like the point that you bring up, that it's important to make a movie that stands alone on its own before you can really start to like branch that character out into a multiverse, or you know, several different movies that span a much larger story, right? And I think that's a good way to kind of talk about the kind of downsides to this, because it seems as though Sony, and you should think about the Spider-Man movies, they are owned partly by both studios, Sony and Marvel Disney.
Yeah.
And this just screams of kind of the last third Spider-Man movie that Sony did in the franchise, where they tried to throw the kitchen sink at it, because it seems as though they are throwing a whole lot of actors and possible cameos into this film, which kind of makes me scared a little bit. Now, just let's talk about some of these cameos.
I feel you. It makes me nervous.
So the first cameo, one of the controversial picks here was we have Jamie Foxx's Electro coming into this film. I will fully admit not to seeing the Jamie Foxx Electro movie, Spider-Man movie, because it was pretty universally panned by people that I trusted. And his performance was also one of the reasons people didn't like that movie. Now, notwithstanding Jamie Foxx's very good acting prowess, I think this is good for him. He gets a second chance at this, right? Which is something that I don't think a lot of people get to do when they make a character that isn't universally liked, right? So I like that aspect of it, and I think that he's gonna bring some elevation to this role again, because he did it before and it didn't really pan out for him before. So I think this is just a good do-over for him. As far as the other Peter Parkers that are apparently looking like we're gonna get here, I really want to see the interaction between these Peter Parkers, right? That's the interesting aspect to me there, where like being able to see that that was one of the biggest and best parts of Spider-Man Spider-Verse, just the banter between the Peter Parkers, right? That those characters was really interesting and fun, right? So that's really fun to me. And another really interesting part of this story is kind of like off the story, but kind of also really interesting. I think it's Vincent D'Onofrio who played Daredevil in the Daredevil Netflix TV show, has actually been campaigning to be part of this film project as well, right?
Really?
Yeah. So that would be interesting. Can I ask, what do you think? What do you think is going to be interesting here? What do you want to see from this movie? Like from the aspect of a person who just wants to see.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier, but I you got me a little excited about it, because I think I had talked to you a little bit about this in a recent movie review that we did, where it was just like, I hate when they do this Iron Man 3 bullshit where everyone's the antagonist, and they bring in 18 antagonists including themselves, and you always have to no matter what. If I grew up with the cartoons, the animated series of Spider-Man, and it's one of my favorite stories. It's one of my favorite stories to heart, because of the multiverse things that happen, and how wait, Mary Jane died. Wait, there's another Mary Jane somewhere, and I can just go find love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was some good weighted stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they were writing.
Dude, Stan Lee was part of one of those storylines. That was really fun.
But they were writing for kids, and I'm like, yo, dude, if I could go to another universe after my girlfriend died and find myself the same girl, she might not be in love with me. It changed the way we thought about cartoons. So I thought the original animated Spider-Man was amazing at that, and you want to see it done justice, but where's the proof? Where's the proof that they've done it justice? I'm talking about Iron Man, things like Iron Man 3. Third movies are notoriously known to be bad unless you're Thor Ragnarok, right?
That's when everything
because
changed.
We just mentioned it, so that's why I got that's the only reason why it's on my mind. But I'm thinking about Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that came out in 2014. It was the Andrew Garfield version. It had, I think that's the one with Jamie Foxx. It had Electro in it, right?
Yeah.
Electro was there. So Jamie Foxx is this interesting, we're going to build Jamie Foxx from the beginning of the movie, and he's slowly going to be the bad guy. Okay. But then you also, you haven't got rid of Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. So you have emo Green Goblin, and he's just this fucking you remember the emo kid that they got to play him?
Yeah. He was also in that one really good movie called Chronicle.
Yes, he was in Chronicle. Dane DeHaan, I think is the way. Dane DeHaan is what I'm looking at right now. So you got those two guys, right? You got the whole thing that Peter Parker does not want to fail Gwen Stacy, because he made a promise to her father that he wouldn't get her in this kind of stuff, and she's already starting to get too deep in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the end of that first movie, so there's already too much shit going on. To add. So we've already had, and then what I meant to say about that whole Spider-Man multiverse thing is Spider-Man's always going to have a conflict with himself. He's always going to have conflict with himself. I think that is the best part of the Venom movie. I think you can make a Venom movie where you don't have anybody playing Venom except Spider-Man, because that's the way it was in the cartoon. Is his biggest conflict and his biggest antagonist was himself not feeling comfortable in the Spider-Man suit anymore, not feeling strong, and then Venom takes over. That's the way I remember the story as a cartoon. You know, it's never gotten portrayed like that. But I'm thinking of that, and then Spider-Man 3, the awful Spider-Man 3, where they, like Sam Raimi tried to do what I just said, which is make that antagonist like feel like that. And then he's like, okay, but like how many people can we add as bad guys? So like we're obviously gonna have James Franco, the greatest Green Goblin. we got the Sandman in there. We have Venom. Topher Grace comes in and plays Venom. There was like a movie where like the Rhino showed up in one of these Spider-Man movies, and I can't even remember which one it is.
Electro.
Because there was too many fucking bad guys in these movies.
Yeah. For sure. Good.
Yeah, no. That just to wrap up my point, like all I'm saying is like I'm just worried about like, yeah, you're right. Like potentially we're all hoping that this is gonna be like an amazing movie because this sounds cool. You know, like I hope Childish Gambino makes a cameo just to say like, just like, hey man, I'm Miles Morales in another fucking universe.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be like the greatest. Like you're hearing it now. Like, yo, Childish, get out there, Donald Glover, man, get out there.
He was actually in the second Tom Holland movie as a character that was actually the uncle to the possible Miles Morales character in that universe. I know that's a long thing, but if you can follow that, you understand what I'm saying.
No, because he sold him the guns. He was like, dude, if you're gonna, he's like, hey kid, if you're gonna like be doing this, you gotta like talk better. And it was a great cameo. Like when I saw it, I loved it. But yeah, I mean, that's all I want to say about that. I'm gonna rant about the bad guys. This potentially could be really cool. I'm excited to see Tobey Maguire put the suit back on. I actually loved Andrew Garfield. I thought he was a great Spider-Man. I don't think he was given the best movies to be in. Like I think Tom Holland has had amazing writing behind him.
Yeah.
And like I think Holland is still fascinating, but like the people that we've gotten before to play Spider-Man have all been great. I don't know if the writing's always been there.
The Parkers have never been the problems in those movies.
I love that. That's the great thing. Man, we got to wrap up with that saying, dude. Yeah. The Parkers have never been the problem in the movie.
They've never been the problems in those movies. Never been the problems.
Or the Mary Janes.
The Mary Janes have never been the problems. No, they've never been the problems in those movies. I think to wrap up our points, I think both you and I are kind of on the same page on things. First up, I think our movie-going selves are like totally excited for this. This sounds like a science fiction epic, but also a nostalgic epic like everyone loves. That just sounds like a fun-ass time, and I want to see it, definitely. But also cautiously optimistic because there's just a lot. It seems like there's a lot going on here. We just hope that that the third Spider-Man movie curse does not befall this movie.
I got to ask you one last question, though. If you had a Green Goblin that came back, let me rephrase that. If you had any villain from any three of the movies come back, which one would it be?
It'd be Dr. Octopus from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. Still, to this day, top 3 best superhero movies ever, in my mind.
Alfred Molina, right? Alfred Molina is just the game changer for all bad super. Okay, so what I think is funny is like I would have to bring somebody back too. I think if we were gonna bring a villain back, so Willem Dafoe, man. Willem Dafoe was the scariest. His laugh was the scariest fucking Green Goblin that I've heard in so long, and like it was good. Absolutely. It was good. We're gonna talk about this like we talk about. One day we will look back on this like we talk about like the '90s Batmans, you know, like the Val Kilmer Batman movie is like, or like the Jack Nicholson of Jokers.
Yeah.
Like there were points to those characters. Like they might not be the guys that like forever like made you remember that character, but you always have to go back to those characters.
Absolutely. They're just like the best villains are truly the ones that you feel for, or that the ones that you can truly see their reasons for being evil. Alfred Benila's Dr. Octopus, probably one of the best villains, man. I still go back to that movie. Spider-Man
The
2
love.
is such a fantastic film. It was the first time that I think I'd ever watched a superhero film, and I knew when it was over that it was just a step above other superhero movies. You know, it was a film to me. I don't know, I gush over that movie, and I hope all the best to this project. All right, so moving on, our next piece of news.
What was Spider-Man about? It was about love and science, and that's what Doc Ock was about.
Yeah, 100%.
Love and science.
Love and science, yes.
What's the next thing?
Next thing, we have a new project out of my man Ridley Scott. Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott are teaming up for a Napoleon epic that will be written by the same writer who wrote All the Money in the World. I don't know if you've seen that movie. This movie will take an interesting turn by focusing on not just the military prowess of Napoleon, but also the strained relationship between Napoleon and his wife, Josephine. Also, on a side note, Ridley Scott is turning 83 next week. And he's also about to finish a project called The Last Duel and will begin production on a new project before this Napoleon movie called Gucci by March. Needless to say, this is an old man working his ass off. Let me ask you, Drew, what do you think about Joaquin Phoenix? What is your...
Wait, are we talking about Ridley Scott or Joaquin Phoenix first?
I mean, we're talking about both of them. Both of them, for sure.
Los dos. Got it.
Yes, for sure. And then
I love these two guys together. Let's not forget, these two guys together made one of my favorite movies that I just recently watched. And to think Gladiator, after 20 years, is still one of the best action films, heartfelt love story the whole time.
Yeah, preach.
Evil villain, rich hero, coming underdog, everything about it, man. When he fucking digs, you know, like who can... That's when I first met, I don't know his name. You pronounced that name earlier so well, but like I just call this guy Digimon. I call this guy Digimon, like Digital Monsters Digimon.
Yeah.
But like Digimon comes out and he ends the movie by just like, he just looks up in the sky. He's like, I will see you again. Not yet. Not yet. And I'm like, oh, God dang it. That's a good fucking movie. Just tear jerking. He's burying the little figurines. He's making peace with it. And you get the sand in the hands. Gladiator always has to massage the dirt of the battle he's fighting in. Ridley Scott and my man Joaquin Phoenix again. Bring on Russell Crowe too. Go ahead, man. But the reason why you made me think of Gladiator is because of the Napoleon-esque. We're going into the time period, and I thought he did an amazing job. I think he did an amazing job as an evil Caesar, and like that Caesar. He was a drugged up, cocained out. I killed my father, Caesar. It was epic and it was good. And if he brings as much energy as he did to the Joker, he's gonna do phenomenal. And like, dude, come on, Ridley Scott just did. I mean, The Martian was like one of his last movies. Like, The Martian. The Martian was like a great film. Like, This guy has how many projects announced? 2, 4, 6, 8. He has 9 projects that have been announced that he's working on. And he has 4 of them that are in post-production. Like, this guy's not even sleeping.
No.
Like he is he has so much shit that he's working on right now. Just producer credits alone. This guy will work on anything. One of these is A Christmas Carol. Like, who needs to be working on a fucking Christmas Carol at 70 years old? Like, bro, you got other shit to do, man. You don't need to be working on.
He's going to be 83 next week, bro.
He's doing an untitled Alien prequel and Gladiator 2. Like, what? What?
That might be rumors. It might be rumors, but yes, like.
I'm just looking at his directing page. The man can eat it, man. He's doing good.
Yeah, like I can't imagine. Like, I want to be this vital at 80 years old, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude.
Like, oh my God. Like, if we just extrapolate that, how much time do we got? Like, he's not even half our age. Like, we're not even half the life that he's lived right now. Like, as long as medical science advances the way it's supposed to, boy, we gonna be good. Like, we can just like eat whatever Ridley Scott's eating.
Yo, man, I hope at 78 I'm creating The Martian.
Yeah,
like it'll at least make me feel good.
Yeah, it's just it's mind blowing what this guy is just doing. I applaud the man's prowess. I'm admired by it. But my ideas on Joaquin Phoenix, bro. Like, I don't know how to nail down Joaquin Phoenix. Like you can give me any actor and I can kind of like in my head kind of conceptualize what kind of role it's gonna be. I still don't know what Joaquin Phoenix is gonna bring to the equation, man. He
says the guy who made me watch Her. That I didn't even know what it was until you dragged me out to watch it, man.
Dude, I love that movie so much. But yeah,
I know, it's so good.
Like Joaquin Phoenix in my head is pure chaos. I don't ever know or know what to expect from him. And him in this role, like I don't know why, like you can just kind of see that he's gonna bring the dark broodiness that a Napoleon character needs to have, right? I'm just like, and I can't wait to see the Ridley Scott French battle. Like I want to see a period piece that is just full on scale battered like postmodern warfare French revolutionary, just like amazing battle scenes that Ridley Scott can bring. I am just fascinated with what that can be as well. But like this project just sounds like gigantic and enormous. And since he's got like 2 other movies he's gonna do before the end of the year, like in 22, like I don't expect this movie to come out for at least another 4 years. Probably. Right. But they're getting everything ready now.
Everything's going to be great, though. I mean, like, whatever he comes out with, it's going to be good. Do you remember, because this is a movie that we will have to review eventually, but do you remember the movie Matchstick Men?
Yes. I remember Matchstick Men, yes.
I can't believe, I didn't know it was on Ridley Scott's directing thing. Man, Ridley, like, the Matchstick Men is just one of the best, like, heist, like, it was Ocean's 11 before Ocean's 11 came out.
For sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, Ridley Scott's talent he just can do anything, and he usually does everything well. There's rarely a Ridley Scott movie that disappoints me. Like there's been 1 or 2. Like Prometheus wasn't great, but like the visuals and like I could see where he was trying to go.
And there's places where they throw money at him, and like no matter how much money you throw at something, you can't do it justice just with money.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, you know, the pieces really have to come together. But like when you name a couple of these, when you're thinking of like Gladiator, just starting in 2000, Gladiator, Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men, Kingdom of Heaven.
The director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is fantastic.
I know. American Gangster, which is just
also director's cut of that movie. Also fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great film that's not Martin Scorsese. Like a great gangster film that's not him. A Good Year, Prometheus, The Counselor, Exodus, God and Kings, The Martian, Alien. The list goes on. I think he even did a couple episodes. He directed a couple episodes of Raised by Wolves. That new series.
And I think it's glad you bring that up because I just started watching it. I watched the first episode. Good Lord, that movie is. I mean, sorry, that show is just like it is like Kevin Smith said this about it. It is like 80s or 70s animation or a trade back sci-fi. So it's like a heavy metal style sci-fi epic, like otherworldly, kind of dark, but also like that 70s tint of just like it's just like that beautiful mesh of like old school, deep sci-fi, and it's dark but directed by like a master filmmaker. It's just has this beautiful symmetry to the cinematography that's so nice and well made too. It looks like an auteur like sci-fi painting from like the 80s. You know what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
fantastic, and I think I also have this feeling that it's almost like Ridley Scott's answer to Prometheus, in the way that the story kind of unfolded. I feel like he's been wanting to tell this story about how humanity became a thing in like his movies before, and he's like doing the If Raised by Wolves to kind of answer it, and he's doing it really well. I haven't seen anything beyond the first episode, but what I've seen I love, and it's just really good to get into if you want to see it. It's on HBO Max. And I am I'm fascinated by both of these people. Obviously, Ridley Scott, incredible filmmaker. Joaquin Phoenix, just a breath of acting talent. And I cannot wait to see them combine their efforts again to make a war epic. I just want to see a good old-fashioned war epic, and that's what I think this is going to be, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I'm excited about it.
All right. So next up, we're going to talk about my man Aaron Sorkin. Let me bring up the brief here. Aaron Sorkin was heard in an interview during a podcast on the MTV network for his new project, The Trial of the Chicago 7, that will be released on Netflix. He said, quote, "I do want to see it," meaning a sequel to The Social Network, his movie about Mark Zuckerberg. He said, "People have been talking to me about doing it for a long time." He wants to do a movie about the dark side of Facebook. He says, quote, "Do I want to write that movie? Yeah, I do. I will only write it if Dave directs it." He says even if one of the greatest directors comes out of the grave, he wants Dave to direct it. And he said, and he confirmed in the same podcast, that Dave Fincher is interested in directing it and that he is interested in writing it. Now, he also goes on to state that he talked to a man named Roger McName, who wrote a book called Zucked. And in that book, Roger illustrates the way that Facebook has been used in countries around the world to undermine its democracy. So, it seems as though Aaron Sorkin, the man that you and I gush about all the time, wants to make a sequel based on kind of current events that are happening in the world, right? You know, the falling of democracies, namely ours, but also many of them that have been fallen across the world because of Facebook. Think about that, right? Like, what kind of movie would this be? Like if you remember The Social Network, it was a movie about a guy who ended up creating something, but it was really just a movie about a guy's journey, right? And this would be a follow-up to that, where that same guy creates something so powerful that it runs away from him, and it actually starts to undermine democracies across the world. I want to see that Aaron Sorkin movie badly. What are your thoughts on this, my friend?
At this point, man, Aaron Sorkin can take a shit, and I probably would pay to go see it. Like this guy, if he's, I'm not a big fan of, I mean, you know, he's not a big director yet. I don't know if he has the directing thing going on yet.
I believe he has a directing project underway.
He has two. Yeah, he has two credits to his name, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I totally agree with this director. He's done The Trial of Chicago 7 and Molly's Game. I love the movie Molly's Game. I thought it was fantastic. I think it was an amazing debut by him on Molly's Game. And so, like, you know, right now he has such a short list. Like, he is not Ridley Scott. Let's go back to that. He is not Ridley Scott.
He takes
time. Oh, damn, jinx. That was good, man.
For sure.
Yeah, I heard that. Like, I know that, like, our people listening, it's probably delayed, but I heard it in my ear the exact same time I said it. It was so perfect.
Yeah.
So you probably said it first, Arnie, but whatever. But no, so like he takes his time with stuff. He did The Social Network. He did Moneyball. He had a year gap. He spent 4 years working on the Newsroom. He did the Steve Jobs movie. 2 years Molly's Game. 2 years later, he creates the Trial of the Chicago 7.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen this movie yet. I'm very excited to see it. Has an amazing cast. Succession's Jeremy Strong is in it. Eddie Redmayne is in it. I've just heard some good stuff. He wrote A Few Good Men. So like, if you couldn't handle the truth, like, he's the guy you talk to. Like, so he's actually doing a TV movie for A Few Good Men. That's coming up apparently. Like, he's been working on that, and I know that the West Wing is doing a reunion show. I think is it tomorrow night? I think it's tomorrow night, Thursday night.
Oh, really?
They're doing a reunion show for vote, for like, go out and vote. So the West Wing will be doing a stage play reading. It actually could be a staged, but either way, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not too familiar on the details, but they're going to do some sort of stage reading of an episode from season 3 that Aaron Sorkin was a part of, and they're just to kind of promote voting. So like, Aaron Sorkin, he's been actually busier than what he usually is for a typical Aaron Sorkin year. But I'm so glad that he brought up David Fincher, because David Fincher is a great director, and that tag team is nothing but a win, man. Because like, David Fincher's done Fight Club, your favorite movie, like one of your favorites. Absolutely. I know that for sure. Curious Case of Benjamin Buttons, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, which was really good.
Good
this
Lord.
Guy knows how to direct, and countless music videos, like tons of music videos.
For sure.
So like, I really think he understands pacing like no one else understands pacing. Yeah. Because that's what I'll give to The Social Network, was it was paced amazingly well.
And I think that a lot of that is Sorkin too, but yes, the directing, yes.
Oh, of course, the writing. Yeah, the writing, like the writing, it's all in the writing, but like, when you direct it the way he does, I think that they're a great duo. So I'm really excited about it. I hope we do see something that has this political spin. I mean, when you saw like the shit that Aaron Sorkin got for doing the Newsroom and how good it was, like, I mean, Aaron Sorkin just laid out his political beliefs, I think, in Newsroom, and I loved it. It was great. It was good.
Entertaining.
And so like, people miss that. People want that. They want shows like that. We want the House of Cards, the West Wings, and the Newsrooms. So if you're gonna make a Facebook movie that's in that same context, sign me up.
Absolutely. I totally and absolutely agree with everything you said. I think that Aaron Sorkin has this ability to be his career is marred with topicalness. He's a person that definitely likes talking about the moment and in the moment in real time. And his filmography is littered with projects that extenuate that, right? That say that out loud. And this is, again, one of those projects that definitely talks about the moment that we're living in. And I think his voice is so, for lack of a better term, it's just so damn entertaining. He boils down concepts and just real actual facts and events into such a small, very easy to digest, entertaining package that he's probably one of the best voices we have nowadays to speak truth to power in certain ways, because people will listen to him because he's entertaining. But the things he tells you about are definitely things that are like have life and breath in the real world, right? And and him specifically pointing to the fact that he wants to talk about the bad side of Facebook and what it's doing to the world right now excites me to no end, just because I want the world to know about that stuff, and I want his voice to be the one that says it to everyone. right? That's the thing that movies do in the zeitgeist. They tell the truth that journalism's have revealed in a story, in a drama that makes it easy for people to digest. And that is something that I think he's the master of, and I am happy and glad that he's going to be doing this, and super excited that Dave Fincher's going to come back to direct it. Now there isn't any like greenlit or anything, but look, these are some of the most powerful. These are some of the most prominent people in Hollywood, and when a movie has two people when a movie has David Fincher and Aaron Sorkin together on it, it is almost a guarantee for them to get a green light, because they're just, when they come together, gold happens, and that's the way the movie industry works, man. Super excited for this, and super excited for the story to be told about this, because the world needs to know about this stuff, right? They really do. for the sake of our democracy, man. I think we'll end that one here, unless you have anything else to say about our man Aaron Sorkin.
No. Let's keep it going. I like this.
Let's go to the last story, which I think is probably the most important story.
This pace.
We're going to end it with an important piece of theatrical news. So AMC has warned that they are actually going to possibly run out of capital by the end of the year. Now, of course, this is due to the pandemic. I'm actually going to read this article. It's very short. It won't be long, but I just wanted to give good context to this conversation. So from CBS News, theater chain AMC Entertainment is warning that it could run out of cash by the year's end as the coronavirus pandemic continues to slam the cinema business. Although AMC has reported most of its theaters that are operating at reduced capacity to permit social distancing, the Linwood, Kansas-based company said in a government filing on Tuesday that it has seen an 85% drop in attendance since reopening. According to AMC, 494 of its 598 theaters are open, but locations in California, Maryland, New York, North Carolina, Washington, which would normally generate a quarter of the company's annual revenue, remain closed. This is a significant risk that these potential sources of liquidity will not be realized, the company said. AMC hopes to reduce financial losses by raising cash and cost-cutting measures. For example, AMC is seeking to renegotiate billing rents with landlords and considering taking out a loan. Over the last 12 months, ending in June, the company reported a net loss of $1.2 billion on revenue of $3.7 billion. God, it's like a ridiculous loss that they're going in. Other theater chains are also dealing with the same kind of losses. Cinema World Group, which owns Regal Cinema, said earlier this month that it will temporarily close 536 locations, affecting 40,000 workers. Now let's get into this conversation, my man. I think the truth of the matter is the coronavirus pandemic has hurt a lot of businesses, and you, I know, work at a theater as well. Maybe not the same kind of theater, but are feeling that as well.
Yeah, the arts in general, man. The arts, and especially, that goes without saying that, like, the hospitality industry, along with the arts, have really taken one of the biggest ignored hits to me during this pandemic. I that's how I feel personally. I think that, like, we've given a lot of attention to a lot of the other industries.
For sure.
I just feel like the hospitality over and over has been stepped on, and like, I don't know when it's going to be back to its normal self. And then on the same note, I don't know if our visual arts industry is ever going to recover and some places are just not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, that's plain and see, like, things are not going to come back. And we're going to a different trend. There's things like Mulan. Disney's just gonna straight release Mulan now, to through their streaming platform. Apple TV is buying stuff. What is it? Marvel Studios through the Disney platform can start releasing stuff. That they've kind of squared up the way we do this already. They've already come up with their contingency plans, and they're ready to strike. You know what I mean? And like the theaters are going to be the first to go, and it's going to be sad. It's going to mark a very sad time. I know today I was listening to a podcast and they said there was a Groupon in New York where you can pay 90, rent a whole movie theater out for like 10 or 20 people, and I was like, shit, I would do that. Like I would even do that. But if I find that deal, like I'm gonna go do it. But at the same time, it's like there's nothing that's ever gonna change a movie going experience to me. There's nothing like watching a Tarantino film in 35 millimeter for the first time. It changes your life, no matter how seasonal of a moviegoer you are. So I think this is something. Like the Eddie Murphy movie. Did you hear about Coming to America?
To America too.
Got sold. Yeah, got sold to
Amazon.
Was it Amazon? Yeah, it got sold to Amazon, and will be streamed on their network through Amazon Studios for 125 million. So they've gotten their money back for that.
Yeah.
And Amazon's gonna just go ahead and release that now. So that is a sign. Things like that are a sign of streaming might give the last stab wound. I mean, coronavirus, really did most of the damage, but streaming is going to have the last laugh on these movie theaters.
I mean, I think we've been seeing it for a while now, where the streaming platform is definitely where a lot of these companies are going. And coronavirus definitely exacerbated and accelerated that movement for sure. And we should also mention, it is sad that our government cannot seem to figure out what it needs to do to help people. The stimulus talks have broken down, and both sides are continuously not wanting to talk to each other about it. And it's sad that because of that, our country is suffering, and because of that, our theaters are going to suffer. All entertainment industry is suffering really bad right now, and the theaters are seeing a big brunt of it, right? I do believe that the theater going experience is not ever going to go away, because, like you said, the actual act of going to a theater and watching a good movie, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like being in a crowd of people who are enjoying a big movie. I think we as people enjoy each other's company, regardless of what we think. Like we do enjoy that, and that's something we seek out. I think this is going to change the movie industry. It's going to make it different. I think things like where you're like that Groupon is going to be a normal thing possibly. Like I honestly would probably be okay with that. Like if you get like 10 or so people together and rent a theater out, and we can just all watch a movie together and we're all friends. A virus notwithstanding, if we know everyone's clean, we're good to go. We can watch the movie and enjoy it. I like that. I do want to say that like it's not like it's a bad thing that's happening and their jobs are being lost. But I don't think it's the end of the movie industry as a whole, especially when it comes to theaters. Like there are still rumblings that maybe Amazon might buy AMC or some of these other big conglomerates.
But that's the problem. It's the biggest thing is like that's my bigger problem with it, is that these people are gonna just, instead of, they're gonna create a monopoly for themselves. Yeah. Disney's going to buy, like, let's say Disney buys, and this is not anything that was rumored or anything, I'm just giving a hypothetical. Let's say Disney buys AMC. If Disney bought AMC, they would have every avenue of making money on a movie possible. There would be no more middleman. They would just put a fucking Mulan on the fucking popcorn buckets and sell it to you and make money off of it. Disney will now like own everything. If you wanted to see a movie, they had every way of getting your money. So like it's gonna make, when you monopolize something like that, it makes the experience, to me it just lowers that experience
because there's no competition, right? So they don't have any need to be better, right?
Yeah. So I mean, and like I loved AMC. AMC has tried hard to win their audience back. They've made They've made their seats better. They've made their sound experience better. They've cleaned better. They've their screens, their projectors are state of the art now. I mean, like I haven't been. We live around a lot of movie theaters in the DFW area, you and I don't know if I've been to an AMC that hasn't been updated in the last 10 years.
For sure.
You know,
They
or
offer beer
you know,
now.
even
Like every one of the first
yeah, last
theaters you
5
could buy a
years.
beer.
Yeah,
That was that. It's funny. You remember a time when you couldn't buy a beer at a at a movie theater? That was not that long ago.
right.
That was like less than 5 years ago. I want to say.
Exactly. I mean, they started these trends,
Yeah.
and they've made it so enjoyable now, and I just would hate for for us to see anything. Uh, I would hate for us to see the end of that, and I don't. I'm hoping it's not the end, but like as they run out of money, I don't see anything that's saving them. I don't see saving grace, especially if movies are not coming out. Like
Yeah.
the studios are too afraid to release the movies because they're afraid of the loss.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing on top of that. So like there's a full circle going on. Like, somebody take the like Tenet's the only thing you can see. Like I would watch Tenet, but like, Tenet's the only thing you can see that's new right now. It feels
sure.
like.
It's crazy that we're living in a world where there is a possibility that AMC might go under. That is a real possibility. They're saying,
and it's something that you
they're
said
literally
in
pleading with the government. They sent this to the government. This was a letter to the government telling them that they might fail. Their theater chain will change if they do not get any help.
And there was something that you said in a couple weeks ago, and it was just like, look, if we could come up with a chunk of this money, of this like what did I read, like 1.9 I think it's 1.9 trillion dollars that is being talked about for these airline bailouts.
Yeah.
Like this industry, and like they just got a $25 billion payroll extension bailout to help supplement their payroll for these next couple of months. So like if just that payroll extension, that 25 billion, I mean, what were we just talking about? We were talking about 3 or 4 billion for the entire movie industry.
I think
so
it's less than that. I think it's less than that. The numbers are here. They're like,
but so like, we're bailing them out, just give the airlines, I don't want to go on the subject, but like there are things that you can help in this economy that like would go a longer way than what we're currently spending the money on.
I mean, it's definitely,
I don't want to get into politics in this, but like,
but at the end of the day, it's a lot of it, because politics affects every facet of society.
Everything.
It affects everything, and the inability for our government to truly help all businesses, because they're not helping all businesses. They have tried to help all businesses by not putting enough money into that big pot, and they're now debating on to put more money into that pot. And the fact that they can't seem to get their heads together to understand that all businesses are important to our economy, not just a certain number.
All businesses matter.
Yeah. All businesses matter. And unfortunately, we're living in a world where movie theaters are just not that important. And this is not just something that you do every once in a while. Movie theaters are a part of our society. They are something that people look forward to going to. They are something that as kids we grow up going to and loving and wanting to go. It is an experience for us to go and see other people, to enjoy something with our friends, to enjoy something with their families. This is an American institution. It's not just businesses, right? But at the base level, it's also jobs and people's livelihoods. But it's also an American institution, and it's sad that we're living in a world that is a possibility that AMC and many other cinema conglomerates might go under. It's just 2020, man. It sucks. But I think theaters will always be around.
Yeah, and I can't wait to go back to I can't wait to go back to one. And
Yeah.
I don't want to end on such a sour note, so I'm just gonna add something here because it's been on my feed all day. So sorry to surprise you, but like let's go to just a minute of small screen news.
Okay.
Small screen news, like it's all over that Dexter's coming back
Oh, yeah.
to and Michael C. Hall will reprise the role of Dexter. Um, I'm just going to read this quick CNN article. IGN was one of the ones that broke the news. I'm just reading the CNN article. That's some killer news for fans of Dexter. Showtime is taking a stab at bringing back the serial killer drama. The network announced Wednesday it will produce a 10-episode limited series with Michael C. Hall reprising the role that won him a Golden Globe in 2010. Showrunner Clyde Phillips is also set to return. Dexter is such a special series, both for its millions of fans and for Showtime, as it is the breakthrough show that helped put.
Oh, no. I think we lost Drew. All right, guys.
Dexter was any good. So I'm really excited about this. Sorry, man. I got some. I was nervous about my internet for a second, but like
No,
I think yeah, go ahead.
It went down for a second for sure.
Yeah, and so I'm excited about this news. I didn't think the last season was too good, and the last. I told everybody who watched Dexter, like if you watch Dexter, just you could watch as much of it as you want, just don't watch the last 40 seconds of it, because the last 40 seconds of the series finale of Dexter is kind of what hurt me the most, and I'm excited that they brought it back. I'm thinking this is going to be more like a Twin Peaks revival series.
Okay.
More so than just like bringing back a series for another season. I don't think we're going to be surprised by getting any more than 10 episodes. I think this is just this is what Sylvester Stallone wanted to do with Rocky Balboa. You know what I mean? It's just like it's the forgiveness piece. I'm hoping. And I hope it turns out to be a little bit better than what we got in Twin Peaks. I'm not saying Twin Peaks was bad. I'm just saying, like it kind of spoon fed us everything we wanted. So I just hope it's a little bit more dramatic. I hope this this Showtime series is going to be a little bit more dramatic than that.
For sure. I do want Michael C. Hall to have another crack at that character, for sure.
Yeah.
I stopped watching the show about 4 seasons in. And it wasn't because it was
perfect
bad.
time.
Yeah.
No, perfect time to stop.
it wasn't as good as I thought it was as it was going to be anymore. I am interested in like them doing it again because I know that the ending was filled with a lot of criticism. A lot of people.
Yeah. What was the last? What was the last villain that you saw?
It was what's his name? The Strangler.
John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, John Lithgow. That was the last. That's one that I saw.
Because I will say John Lithgow was the peak, and then right after that was Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks was pretty good.
Right on. I did watch all of that, which was good. It was a great show.
Yeah.
And Michael C. Hall is wonderful in it. He's the reason the show was so good. His character, the way that he played him, the intensity that he brought to the role, but also like the sheer uneasiness that he also brought to it was really fun to watch.
The guy got married and divorced during that show to the girl who plays his sister.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
which is crazy. And during all that, during the marriage and the divorce, he also had a lot of chemo, and obviously he had that very well-known bout with cancer that he suffered through, and you can see how the chemo and that diagnosis just really aged him through the seasons if you watch closely. If you're a binge watcher like I was, you can notice it. It's not too subtle. So.
For sure, man. Well, I hope it's good. I hope they end it well, and I think that's what they want to do. It feels like the writers and Michael C. Hall wanted to come together and just do one last hurrah, and I hope they end it well, man.
Yep.
I think we're good, man.
Well, I think this is great, man. This has been really fun. Please, if there's anybody watching, tell us what you think. This is something new we're trying.
For sure. We're just going to do this like every other week. We'll do some movie news, and we'll also do some movie reviews. The next review coming up is going to be Exit Through the Gift Shop. Wonderful documentary. Yeah. First documentary we're doing. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Appreciate it. I'm Arnie Diaz. I also have another podcast called The Arnie Diaz Show. Look for that on all the other platforms. Drew, anything to say to the people?
Yeah, we're Kinetic Impressions. So take a look at Kinetic Impressions on whatever you listen to podcasts on. So that's Spotify. You know the rest.
It's everything. It's everything now. We're on everything now, baby. Appreciate it, guys.
Are we on Apple?
We are on Apple. We are on Apple. Yes.
We made it.
Yes, we made it, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks like we made it.
All right.
Cool, man.
All right, and stop.
Let's take it home.
Take it home. Have a good night, everybody.